Men soldiers were no less enthusiastic about helping Kim Jong-suk and Kim Jong-il. They would visit my house and try their best to do something for Kim Jong-suk. As was the case in the Paektu secret camp, at the training base in the Far East region, nourishing food was not readily available. Everybody was leading a hard life, tightening their belts. Even though one wanted to help others, it was often impossible to do so. At this time, Rim Chun-chu and many others would save little by little the bread rationed out to them and give it to Kim Jong-suk. Everybody went hungry to assist the front fighting against the German invaders, but they gave bread to her every day. Kim Jong-suk would eat part of the bread and keep the remainder before giving it back to them. Once Rim Chun-chu went to Manchuria carrying a wireless set on a mission. Keeping wireless contact with headquarters, he conducted political work for some months. He performed his mission with credit, and when he returned to the training base, he brought dozens of eggs with him. It was very far from our training base to the place of his political work, and worse still, the path was not a paved avenue. It was a path through a forest of bayonets. How difficult it must have been for him to carry a bundle full of eggs while carrying a wireless set at the same time in the shadow of death. When he appeared in front of us with eggs, I was truly moved by his devotion to Kim Jong-suk and Kim Jong-il. As a matter of fact, Rim Chun-chu and Kim Jong-suk had been friends for a long time. When Kim Jong-suk had been attending night school in Fuyandong, Rim Chun-chu and Kwak Ji-san had taught there. Rim had given much medical help to the local people. Kim Jong-suk's family, too, received medical treatment from him. When she fell ill once, Rim Chun-chu had treated her, I was told. Not only in his days in the International Allied Forces, but all his life, Rim Chun-chu did his best for the good of my family, Kim Jong-suk, Kim Jong-il, and me. When the country was liberated, he made every effort to find out the whereabouts of Kim Jong-suk's relatives. Regarding it as his duty to introduce the lives and exploits of Kim Jong-suk, my younger brother Kim Cheol-ju and Kim Jong-suk's younger brother Kim Ki-song to the younger generation, he collected materials on them for several years, and on this basis wrote many books about them. He was a representative intellectual who helped me with knowledge while fighting with arms in hand. Endowed with profound knowledge, he made records right from the early days of the anti-Japanese armed struggle. He started writing history when he took notes on my talk to the cadres of the Party and Young Communist League at Chaoyangchuan, Yanji County. From that time on, as a historian of the Korean People's Revolutionary Army, he participated in important conferences such as those held at Nanhuto, Nanpaizi, and Xiaohar-Baling, and made faithful records of them. He contributed several articles to the publications connected with the Kuomintang. One year, the Pacific carried an interview by its special correspondent with Rim Chun-chu. Reading the interview, I found out that he had boasted a lot about my unit to the correspondent of the magazine. Rim said the Korean People's Revolutionary Army had succeeded in every battle because of wise planning, elusive tactics, promptness, accuracy, and bravery. He also said that our soldiers were strong in the spirit of independence, cultured and optimistic. The correspondent wrote that Rim Chun-chu had contributed articles about the fighting achievements of the Korean People's Revolutionary Army and the story of the heroic death of Kim Kum-sun. Rim Chun-chu said to his comrades in arms now and then, "It is important to make use of our own publications. It is good to compile reports and documents for the Kuomintang, and it is also important to record the fighting achievements of the Revolutionary Army. But what is more important is to keep a systematic record of the history of Commander Kim in the Communist movement and national liberation struggle of Korea. Poor as my writing skill is and shallow as my knowledge is, I will write Comrade Kim Il-sung's biography and hand it down to posterity." There were many in our guerrilla army who rendered services to the revolutionary cause with arms, but few who with a firm faith made records of the history of the guerrilla army voluntarily and left them to posterity as Rim Chun-chu did. Rim Chun-chu was an experienced political worker who had been engaged in party work for a long time. This notwithstanding, we pay more tribute to him as a writer and historian than as a political worker, because his achievement in formulating our revolutionary history is an incomparably great exploit. With rich materials, he put our revolutionary history in order and brought to it profound depth of thought. He could testify to the cause of the anti-Japanese armed struggle because he kept a diary in those days. If Rim Chun-chu, a writer and historian, had not kept the materials on the anti-Japanese armed struggle, a great part of the history of our activities would never have seen the light of day. He played a great role not only in systematizing our revolutionary history, but in giving wide publicity to it. Doing party work with the South Pyongan Provincial Party Committee after liberation, he told Cho Gi-chun, Chung Kwan-chol, and other intellectuals a lot about the Battle of Bocheon-bo and other activities of our anti-Japanese guerrillas. He rendered great service to enriching the archives of the history of our party by writing books and many reminiscences on the revolutionary traditions. He swept away all obstacles to defend and brighten the revolutionary ideology and history of his leader and the revolutionary traditions of our party. In our days in the International Allied Forces, he delivered political lectures on the tasks of Korean communists, a treatise I had written. Some of the foreign commanding personnel asked him to reconsider the matter of including the treatise in the curriculum, but he continued his lectures on the treatise, saying, "We have long acclaimed Commander Kim Il-sung as the leader of the Korean nation. What's all this fuss when I am giving lectures on my leader's work?" He showed great concern over my health. When he was the secretary of the party committee of a regiment, he once informed me about what had been discussed at a meeting. The decision was that I must not carry my knapsack with me. I admonished him, a man with many years of revolutionary service, for discussing such a thing at a meeting. He answered, "This is the will of the party members. If they see you carrying a knapsack, other people will scorn us. You should accept the opinion of the masses." He has been just as faithful to the leadership of Comrade Kim Jong-il as he was to mine. What then made him a revolutionary who respected his leader and the leader's successor so ardently and remained so faithful to their leadership? It was because he, like Kim Hyuk, Cha Kwang-soo, and Kim Chek, knew full well from his life experience the harmfulness of factions, and felt to the marrow of his bones how precious the leader was. Kim Jong-il regarded him highly as a member of the first generation of the revolution. He loved Rim Chun-chu and showed the utmost consideration for him. One year, Rim, who had been ambassador to a foreign country, returned to the motherland after having a dispute with the authorities of that country over an issue of principle. The factionalists and worshippers of great powers who were entrenched in the party raised a fuss that this matter should be called to account organizationally, saying it was an unprecedented diplomatic incident. But Kim Jong-il picked peaches in the garden of our house and sent them to him, saying that he had demonstrated the mettle of courier to modern revisionists. He highly praised Rim Chun-chu for not only having authenticated from the early days of his revolutionary activity the struggle of many revolutionary fighters who had fought shoulder to shoulder with him, incorporating it in the historical treasure store of our party, but also having finished the writing of Reminiscences of the days of the anti-Japanese armed struggle, a book worthy of being considered a national treasure, while working as a diplomatic envoy in a foreign country, thus establishing and systematizing the anti-Japanese armed struggle as the history of our struggle, the history of the struggle of the Korean People's Revolutionary Army. While writing, Rim Chun-chu received much assistance and encouragement from Kim Jong-il. In the course of this, he was moved by Kim Jong-il's human appeal and followed and respected him as his mentor and leader. From that time, he reported all problems arising in and out of his work to Kim Jong-il and acted according to his decisions. Wherever he went, he delivered public lectures and wrote books on Kim Jong-il's greatness.